Our next speaker is Roya Ghiasi, a human rights activist, a member of the families of those who died in 1980s, and she will speak on a justice-seeking message of a mother of someone who died in 1980s. To whom do we bring our complaints? To whom do we hold responsible? In this world as great as it is, will there not be a tribunal? Will there not be a court that could listen to what our heart has to say, to our complaints? Surely you have heard about how parents were told that their children were executed. In the beginning of the revolution, we saw the pictures of our loved ones in the newspapers. They wrote those who were arrested in the June 1981 without identification were shot at. Okay, I don't know anything. You are the educated ones. You have studied law. Can you kill someone without identification just because she was in a demonstration? How can you try someone and then prove that they were guilty and then execute them? Khalkhali used to say, we will kill, we will execute. If he's innocent, he will go to jail, he will go to heaven, and if he was sinful, well, he has seen his deeds. Is this something you would say? Our children were killed in this way, and by this is how they were tried, sorry. And these people, unfortunately, are those who run our country. Mass graveyards, mass executions, humans who still don't have a grave, and no one knows what this regime has done to their graves. I'm sure you have heard about this. If we mothers want to speak of this suffering we have gone through, that would be 1,000 pages book. And our kids are not here anymore, so they can say what happened to them. Some of them who did survive out of these prisons did talk about this and did write about this, and some didn't say anything. Why? Because they say to talk of catastrophe is like a catastrophe in itself. And some, like myself, didn't know anything. They didn't even know how to read and write, and they didn't have anybody so that he could write for them and tell the vote for them. Nobody in the world could judge, could know the brutality that has gone on their people. Nobody can understand this brutality unless one has experienced it itself or has seen it with her own eyes. What went on us, the brutality that we experienced, nobody understood. The world didn't understand it. The world didn't understand what we went through. What I want to say, try when someone is telling you to close your eyes and try to imagine what she's trying to say. Maybe then you will be able to understand. Yesterday, they had just taken my daughter to the detention place, from detention place to prison. I went to the detention place to ask, where did you take her? Where do you want to take her? I said a lot and I heard a lot. Let's forget that. Anyways, I cried a lot. And I asked them, where do you want to take my daughter? They gave me an address. I said, look, I don't know how to read and write. I can't read this. Tell me, where have you taken my daughter? They told me, go to the forensics. I told myself, forensics? I thought they have taken her to some doctors. Forensics, as called legal doctor in Iran. I don't know, maybe it's their doctor. Maybe that's why they call them legal doctors or forensics. I asked them. But I saw my daughter yesterday. She was doing well. Why have you taken her to a doctor? What has happened? They told me. When they saw that I didn't know how to read and write, when they knew I was illiterate, when they knew I didn't know anything, they started laughing about me. They made fun of me. They said, hey, she wasn't doing very well, so we've taken her to the doctor to make sure she's doing alright. Oh, she's gonna do much better. The Revolutionary Guards were laughing and I was crying. They were telling me, the mother, laughing. They were saying, hey, you keep saying we mistreat the prisoners. You yourself said she was doing alright, but we took her to the doctors to make sure she's doing alright. Should we have just let her to go through the pain and suffering? They talked and they laughed. I didn't understand why they were laughing back then, but I was filled with fear. I was afraid that if I just say one more word, they will still torture my daughter once more, or they'll take her to a solitary cell. That's why I started thanking them. I was crying and I wished them health. I said, thank you, I thank you. Thanks for taking my daughter to the forensics. It was only then that I understood what forensics mean. Now, try imagining. Try to imagine how I feel. Try to imagine how I felt when I found out what does forensics mean and what have they done to my daughter. You tell me, why was it that these Revolutionary Guards, these judges did this to us? Why? From the murderers of my own daughter, I had to thank them for having killed my daughter. Anyways, with this little piece of paper that had the address to the forensics, I took a taxi. The first taxi that came, I got it. He said, Mother, where are you going? I explained everything to him, and I gave him the address. I don't know how long was it after he started moving the car. I insisted, hey, go faster. But he parked in the side of the street and said, Mother, they're not going to let you there alone. You can't go there alone. I said, why? Well, you shouldn't go. Why? What do you mean? He didn't say anything. And then he said, listen, they're not even going to let you there alone. In the forensics, they only let men go. What do you mean? How is that possible? What if someone didn't have a man? He said, well, you know, take a daughter, a son, a cousin, a uncle. I kept insisting. He said, denying. He ended up convincing me that I need a man to go to the forensics. Sure, well, in our country, this wasn't very weird. He said, my husband has died. He said, well, take his son. Then he asked my house address. He took me to the house. And then I told him the story of my life as we were going, and he kept sighing. When I get off the taxi, the driver didn't charge me. He said, go, tell your son, he'll do everything. My son went to the forensics. He said, my sister wasn't alone. The cold room was filled with people. The ground was filled with people. I had never seen so many corpses, not even in the war. I tried very hard not to put my feet on the corpses that were lying in the cold room. And then the head of the place shouted, hey, hurry up. He opened a container and I saw my sister. Me, the mother. My wish is to not die and see a courtroom where these criminals will be tried in. This regime killed some people for their religion, some people for their atheism. They killed some because they were Turks. Some people because they were Arabs. Some people were hit so bad that they died. Some people, they did something to them that they had to kill themselves. Some got mad. These mullahs, they burnt the Rex cinema in Abadan so that women and children would die on their airplane. Well, they killed people, they burned people like Hitler had done. Why do you look for the Nazis and keep trying them, but you don't try the mullahs? Why? This regime has killed pregnant women, 12, 13-year-old teenagers, stoned women, pushed people off the mountains, decapitated and cut the organs of the people, kept people up on cranes and took them around the city. Who do we tell all this? To what court do I take my complaints? From 8 years of war. A destructive war which Khomeini has started, and people had to go on mines and die. I'm not going to speak about that. They asked me to forgive. Well, if you forgive, you feel better. But no, it isn't. This isn't how it works. No, I don't feel better. No, I feel worse. Because injustice has done to me. They took the life of my daughter. They took the life of thousands of people. And now, like cowards, like people who have to kneel in front of the tyrants, we have to go silent. We have, for justice and for equality, our children fought these people. This is why they fought them and lost their lives. It is from them that we have to learn and not kneel in front of tyranny. We have to take the criminals to the courts. These people have to be responsible. Now, who do I forgive? Tell me, which one do I forgive? If there was only one case, I would say, okay, I forget it. I forgive it. If it was once, I would say, I forgive it. But to this day, they're killing the kids of people, charging people for the bullet money. You can't forgive killings just like that. Yes, I will say loudly, I will not forgive Khomeini. It was Khomeini who ordered all these crimes. The authorities of this regime, I will not forgive. They should be tried. Tell me, where do I go? To whom do I bring my complaints? To what court? What court will listen to my heart? I haven't studied law. I don't know how to take people to courts. I don't know. I don't even know how to read and write. But you have. You are educated. You know law. You're lawyers. You're judges. You have offices. You have authorities. You have organizations. You have lots of money. Tell me, where do I go? Where do I take my complaints to? In Iran, the heads of the authorities have their hands in blood. Of course, they're gonna deny. Some of them even act like, oh, who was it? We didn't even know this happened. I don't know when they killed our kids en masse. These people and their princelings. Where were they? Were they asleep? You, judges of the world, international organizations. You who have come to Iran to find out what has been happening to our kids in our prisons and what has happened to us. What have you done? No, tell me, what have you done? People bring different reasons in order to just bring excuses. Some say, oh, I couldn't go to Iran. Then they say, no, I went to Iran, but I couldn't meet prisoners. Some say, I don't work on these killings. I only work for the killings from the year X to Y. Some say, look, Iran hasn't signed this or that treaty, so I couldn't do anything. So we couldn't do anything. Some say, because the regime is still in power, we cannot try them. I said, well, thank you very much. If this regime was not in power, if this regime is overthrown, we will organize courts for them. We will send them to courts ourselves. No, not the sort of courts that they formed for our children. No, we're not criminal. We are not blood-seeking. We are not blinded by religion, blood, or money. We are the families of the youth who believed in humanity and freedom and justice and social justice and equality. We will continue the path of our children. We will not be tyrannical toward anybody. We mothers will not work against the causes of our kids. We will continue their paths. But you, I don't know, United Nations, whatever it is, international courts, these judges, these lawyers, these people who are supposed to have become lawyers for rights. This is when we need you. When these regimes are still in power. These regimes that these criminal, I call them criminal because I'm illiterate, you call them fascists and dictators. We need you until these people are actually in power. How can I say this? How do I express this? Tell me. Where do I bring my complaints? To what court do I bring my claims? I, a mother. These crimes, I will not forgive. If God asks, or if his people ask, I will not ask. If Khomeini asks, I will shout everywhere. I am a complainant. Where do I bring my complaint? Which court will listen to this, to what my heart has to say? You judges, you lawyers, you who try to defend, you who have become lawyers and have become judges to defend what is right. You come from countries that supposedly there's less tyranny in your country, there's democracy in your country. What do? What have you done? What are you willing to do? I swear you on whatever you believe in. Haven't you pledged to work toward justice? Don't you wear the robes of a judge? Stop saying you're a lawyer or a judge, or do something. As Shamlu says, this is a poem, say something before I can be filled with the tears. Me, the mother. Do something. Do something before we can be drowned in blood. Thank you.